uh, is that despite the fact that most of the water that is precipitated by the world usually ends up in the northern hemisphere, but either in terms of snow or just warm, moist air. That is why you'll hear a lot of people talking about the floods looking at like a third world country because they're not used to flooding. The northern hemisphere has been very lucky indeed, because most of the precipitation either gets converted into snow or gets converted into a mist that they never have to deal with in form of water or floods. Now, the other very interesting thing is that for some reason, actually this civilization in general, a lot of houses have been designed on floodplains, on drained swamps, on riverbanks, on ocean fronts, for reasons best known. This means, and this applies even to my country here, you'll find that the most populated areas are actually in areas that were swamps, that were drained. So in trains, all the water still remembers their places and they rush to these places and flood everything. So you find people walking knee-high in water, rainwater, and you start talking about, oh, we need drainage. There's drainage. The problem is where your house is the actual natural drainage. And this is the reason, the major reason why the coming floods are going to carry a lot of people. A lot of people will lose not just their livelihood, but even their lives because of the places where they live. So if you've been watching the news of recent flooding in Europe, you'll notice one thing. It's actually river flow getting into the streets because they were built inside the river basins, right on the overflow of the river, right inside the river high water mark. Some even inside the low water mark. You can find somebody, the river is below you and 1 inch above is your balcony. It doesn't make sense. But be warned that water is about to be very common, and most of us will be affected because we love the low, not even necessarily the low-lying lands, but the most populated areas are the river basins. The most populated areas are the dried up lakes, the swamplands that were drained specifically to create housing estates. So when it gets to 1 inch and it gets to 2 inches, to 3 inches, 4 inches, start packing. Don't wait for it to get on your waist, the level of the water, while you're still looking at it, especially if you're living in one of these places.